make that you guys can do at home with your children or your grandchildren and hopefully keep them occupied for a few hours during the summer holidays. Now I'm going to be using one of our new Bigz dies, and obviously you will be able to see it a little bit better, but I'll just show you just how it kind of cuts out. So this is our rocking horse die from our chapter 3, and it is 665349, and this is going to be the basis of our make, and I'm going to show you how you can turn something flat and make something really fun and 3D. And then this is where the kind of creative play and the kids aspect come in, and they can decorate it and we can add some fun glitter and things, and I'm going to show you couple of fun ways that you could possibly customize it, and yeah, and then your little ones can have a lot of fun doing that. Okay, to start off with, I am going to be using some of our mixed media board just to cut the Bigz die out with and get the sort of sturdy shape, because you could use cardstock for this, but I just want it to be nice and sturdy, so I'm going to use mixed media board. And the good thing about this is it comes in a set with grey board and white board, so we're going to use the white board today so we can colour on top of it and add detail, but you could definitely use the grey board for loads of other things as well. And I'm using mixed media board obviously with a Bigz die because our Bigz dies cut loads more materials than our thinlits. So you can cut like fabric and felt and cardboard and things like our mixed media board and our mat board. So it's really great if you want to cut a thicker material, then definitely opt for a Bigz die, okay? And you tend to get like more simple shapes in Bigz dies, so they're great for working with young kids or little ones because then it's not too complicated and intricate for them once it is cut out. Okay, I'm going to open this up and I'm going to cut one of those out. Also, just before I bring the camera down and we do any cutting, I just want to mention that if you are doing this with a young child, then please have adult supervision and make sure you or the adult is doing the die cutting, okay? Just for safety reasons, particularly with this one, you'll only need to cut it out like 2 or 3 times and you're done, so it's not like they won't get involved with the rest of it, but just for safety reasons, please make sure the adults are doing the cutting, okay? So I'm going to bring the camera down and we can get into the make, okay? Okay, so I'm going to cut out obviously with the mixed media board. Now you do want 2 of these, but I've already kind of done half of mine, so I'm just going to cut 1, but if you're making the 3D horse you're going to need 2, okay? So you literally just want to place it on there, and then I'm going to bring in my machine. And when you're cutting Bigz dies, you literally want just the 2 clear plates. Mine are well loved, but you just want the 2 clear plates, and you're just going to sandwich your Bigz die in between there. Okay, and it cuts super easy, and then you've got your gorgeous rocking horse. Okay, so that is the main basis. Now once you've got that and the adult has die cut that out, you can now have a bit of fun with decorating. Now there's loads of different ways that you could decorate it, and I am trying to keep it quite simple because obviously hopefully your child or little one will be doing this. So what I'm going to use is our Sizzix Permanent Marker Pens. Now they're fat at one end and they're thin at the other, so if you want to do a little bit more detail with it you can do, and then if you're colouring a larger space you can use the fat end as well, okay? And I'm going to go for like kind of pinks and purples, but obviously whatever colour scheme you would prefer or your little one would prefer, and you can just kind of figure out where you would want it. Now obviously you can do whatever you want, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop on a saddle onto my horse, And it can be so simple, guys. It doesn't have to be anything groundbreaking. And then I'm going to use the thin end of the purple, and I'm going to do kind of just some swirls, kind of like a carousel horse, okay? And then I'm going to do his tail, or her tail, in purple. And then the hair I'm just going to do in like little balls. I'm not going to completely colour it all in because I'm also going to add some pink over the top. And that's a good thing about these pens, is you can kind of blend them together quite nicely. Okay, now you could paint or colour the bottom one, which I can do, but I am going to show you a trick to kind of cover it and make it a little bit more metallic. Now, obviously, if you prefer paints, we have our creamy matte acrylic paints, which would be brilliant, but I just thought we're going to try and keep it a little bit more mess-free with the pens. But honestly, whatever you guys have, or whatever your child prefers to draw with or be crafty with, just use that, whether it's pens, paint, pencil, crayons, whatever you want, and you can make it as simple or as intricate as you like. Now, as you can see, I'm going over those little swirls, but don't worry, I'm going to show you a fun technique to kind of highlight them again. So, okay. You can see how quick this is to colour in, especially with that fat end. I love it. Okay, so we've got our main base for our rocking horse. Now I want to add a little bit of fun. So I am going to bring in some glitter, which I'm very excited about. Now, these are our Sizzix glitters, and they come in a variety of colours, all matching our fantastic colour story. So I'm going to use the pinks and the purples to match the colours that I've already put down, but say you were using blues or oranges or greens or yellows, anything like that, we've got a glitter to match, okay? So don't worry about that. And then I'm going to use our express glue to kind of adhere the glue, and maybe in some cases use it as like a glue pen almost. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that's coming out. And I'm going to add some sparkle onto the saddle first. So where I've painted or drawn that saddle shape, I'm literally just going to take my glue and very gently press down on the tube and kind of use it as like a colouring in pencil almost. Okay, if you don't feel confident with doing that, or you feel like your little one's going to make a mess, just squeeze out a little bit of glue onto a surface and use a paintbrush, okay? That's definitely an option if you don't feel comfortable doing it straight from the tube, okay? Then I'm going to bring in my funnel tray, and I'm going to use some of our glitter. I think this is the cherry blossom glitter, and just sprinkle that over the area that we glued and tap off the excess. And there we have, and if you've got a few bits that have stuck around, just gently blow on it and you've got a sparkly saddle, okay, which I think little ones are gonna love. I mean, who doesn't love a little bit of glitter? I'm just gonna pop that back in there. This funnel tray is a great way of saving any mess as well, guys. Like, if you're worried about making a mess, just pop some newspaper down, or I'm using the Sizzix Glue Gun accessory kit mat, and then just use your funnel tray, and you're gonna save yourself a lot cleaning up. Now, where I put in those swirls, I'm going to do exactly the same. Now, this one's a little bit more fiddly, so again, you could just use a paintbrush and just dip your paintbrush into the glue, and then just make sure you wash it afterwards. But I'm just going to gently just around in a circle. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy. You could skip the step, or you could just do little dots or something, or anything like that. You could even stick sequins on there. It's honestly completely up to you. I think sequins would be a really cute idea actually, and again they come in all of these different colour story colours. So I'm just going to sprinkle a bit of the purple shade on, shake it off, and we've got some gorgeous swirls. Okay, now I'm going to add one last touch once I've put this away, and that is going to be to the tail of the horse. Now I've got one that has dried. Oh no, I haven't. I thought I had. I'll just use this one. So what I'm going to do with the tail is I kind of want to create like a kind of tactile mane element. So I'm going to use embroidery threads. Now I've got some threads in similar colours to the kind of vibe that I'm going for. Again, just go with whatever colour you want. And I'm just going to wrap, literally just grabbing it at each side, just a couple of strands, and then give it a snip. And then I'm going to do the same with the other colours as well. So you just want loads of little lines using this thread. If I can find the end to this thread. Ah, there we go. But you could also use yarn, like knitting yarn, or something like that, as long as it's not too thick, because obviously this horse isn't huge, so you don't want it to be too much. Okay, and I've got a couple of pink, and just for time's sake I'm just going to stop there. Okay, and then all you want to do is you just want to take an extra piece and just tie it around one side, so just at the top or the bottom, and just tie it in a knot. And this is going to secure all those pieces together. You could also glue it, or you could use string, and you could colour the string in with the permanent markers, or just use it as it is. Completely up to you. Okay, so we've got that bit, and then you can start to snip these. So where these are obviously looped, I'm just going to take my scissors and just get rid of them, and then I'm going to trim off a little bit as well. Okay, so once you've kind of done that, I have got one that I've done earlier, you're going to end up with something like that. So as you can see, hopefully, I have tied it around the top, then I trimmed the top down to the as close to that line as I could, and then I've trimmed the bottom. Okay, and we're going to probably trim the bottom a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my horse, and I'm going to kind of glue that bit there and then shape the thread. Just because it is fabric, I'm going to glue it down with a hot glue gun. Again, if you're using a hot glue gun, please supervise your children, maybe even do this step for them. But if they are a little bit older and you trust them, you can use things like our silicone thimbles to protect their fingers, and obviously a mat as well. So these are all part of our glue gun accessory kit, so that's definitely a good option if you're worried about burning their fingers with a hot glue gun. Okay, so I'm just going to pop a blob of glue there, and then just like kind of strips of glue over that part, and then pop that there, and then just kind of mold this over that area, and you can go in and kind of adjust it and change it up as you like. Okay, so I barely even touched the glue to be honest there, and then I can kind of go in and trim my horse's hair. and make it a little bit shorter, a little bit more curved at the bottom. Kind of being a little hairdresser almost. Okay, so we've got our gorgeous horse hair. Now if you want to cover up this little bit here, you can also just add a little bit of glue. Again, just express glue straight from the bottle, and then kind of drag it down in strands if you want to cover that knot, and then we can add a little bit of glitter. So that's just a way of potentially covering up that that element if you weren't a fan of that. And again, just shake off the excess, and you kind of covered that knot with some sparkle. Okay, so we've got our horse finished. If you are making this into a 3D horse, I do usually recommend just quickly colouring in the back. So probably just colour that in brown and just keep it quite simple. For time's sake, I'm not going to do that. But you can kind of see it coming together. So I'm going to show you how to do this piece in the middle, and it's actually a lot simpler than you think. Okay, before I do that, actually, I forgot that I wanted to put some gold down the bottom here. So what I'm going to use for that is I'm going to use some of our texture roll, our gold texture roll. And it's a really nice, thick material. Fantastic if you are cutting Bigz dies. This texture roll is fantastic. And I'm going to cut this out. I'm just going to pop that over the section that I want, because I literally just want that bottom section. I don't want the whole horse cutting out. And I'm going to roll that through. Okay. And then just literally trim off those pieces. And that's where obviously the whole horse would have been. And we just want that bottom bit. And I'm going to glue that onto the bottom bit. Again, just with some express glue. Okay. Right, while that's drying, I'm going to put that to one side. I'm going to bring in the section for the centre. Now you want it about the same length from this part to this part, okay? So you can measure that out, and it's obviously going to curve. And then you can make it as wide or as short as you want it. So just lengthwise, I've done mine just shy of 11 centimetres. And then width is just shy of 4 centimetres. Okay, and what I've done is I've just scored 2 lines slightly inside of either side, and then I'm going to score lines all the way down lengthways as well. So I'm just using our fold and form tool just to literally go along and score some lines, just using a ruler. These don't have to be perfect. Okay. And then I'm going to take some scissors and I'm going to cut little triangles on either side of these sidelines. So I'll just do a couple just to show you. So again, you could be doing this part, or the adult could be doing this part, while your little one is decorating their rocking horse. So while they're colouring it in and picking their colours and gluing on sequins and getting glitter everywhere, you could be doing this middle section if you're a bit concerned that this is a little bit complicated. So don't feel like you won't have time to do this. Okay, so that's the kind of thing that you're aiming for, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. Okay. And let me know if you guys have made anything with your kids at home, with your children at home, whether it's Sizzix or not. I'd love to see some pictures of some makes that you guys have made over the summer holidays. So please leave a comment and a picture down below whether you recreate this one or you've done something already. I'd really love to see it. Okay, so we've got that, and now we can start to fold along every score line that we have made. Okay, so we're going that way and along there. So these are the little tabs for the end, the side pieces, and then these bits lengthways are going to make it easier to create that curve shape. Okay, so you can already see that it's probably sitting how you want it to sit. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to bring in one side of your horse and using glue, you could use hot glue or express glue, either one, and just dab your glue and then just literally place it along the bottom curve of one of your horses. Okay, and just hold it in place. Okay, and then as that dries, you will end up with something like that. So as you can see, I coloured in my back one, and then I've got my curve bit glued onto one side, and then I just need it gluing on to my other side. Now, just for time's sake and just to show you guys that you can do this with both express glue and a hot glue gun, I'm just going to just pop a little bit of hot glue on every tab. And then I'm going to bring in this horse here. Sadly, I didn't have time to fully decorate this one with all the glitter, but you get the idea. Okay, and then once it's all glued, you should have a little 3D horse, and it rocks back and forth and everything. If you are worried that this gap here in between here is a little flimsy, you can just cut a piece of just a strip of cardstock, bend it on either side, and just add glue on tabs on either side of the inside of the horse. That's absolutely fine, but to be honest, it stays pretty well just with that bottom piece, and you create this gorgeous little 3D horse. How cute is that? And you could make loads in different colours, and maybe you could add like names onto the bottom or sashes with names on. There's so many different ways you could do this, and I think just giving young kids the freedom and the free rein to kind of decorate how they like, maybe just give them a load of crafty bits like their glitters and the sequins and stuff, and let them kind of go to town and have some fun, and make sure obviously you're supervising if you're using things like a hot glue gun or scissors, or obviously our die cutting machine as well. Okay, so I'm going to bring the camera up, say goodbye, and we're all done. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I really hope you enjoyed making along with me and seeing how I made this gorgeous little rocking horse using one of our Bigz dies. If you do recreate it, like I said, definitely leave some comments down below, and maybe if you and your little one have made a whole little carousel of these rocking horses, or you've named them all, I'd love to see. And even if you've not remade this one, I'd love to see any makes that you've made during your summer holidays, during your school holidays, and maybe we can all inspire each other in the comments below. But if you are interested in checking out this Bigz die, which is part of our brand new Chapter 3 collection, or maybe the glitters or the Sizzix Permanent Markers, anything like that, definitely head on over to the Sizzix website and check those out. They're obviously all there for you to have a browse, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your summer holidays, whether you've got children or not, or grandchildren. Definitely make sure you take some time and get crafting this summer, and share all your gorgeous makes with us here at Sizzix and across all our socials. I'd love to see it. Okay, thank you so much for joining me again, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, stay safe and keep